Hey guys, I'm going to do two videos, one on the 10 items of survival and one on my survival aspects. Um, the first one I'm going to make here is going to be the survival aspects because I can't really talk about items until I describe how I feel about survival. Um, to me, people who are preparing kits and things like that are not going to be in a survival situation. If things go bad, you're more than likely going to be in a camping situation because you're going to be prepared. You're going to have your kit. You're going to be ready. You're going to have the knowledge to do the crafts and the tasks that you're going to need to accomplish these things. You're going to have the knowledge to know what you need and when you need it. Um, and you're also going to have the practice if you're smart. Um, you know, There we go by the rules of 3 in survival. 3 minutes without air, generally. Now that can depend on what conditions you're in, what type of person you are. Like if you're a swimmer, like me for example, um, I can hold my breath for quite a while. I can hold my breath for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Now if you're a professional athlete or something, you might be able to hold your breath for more. But generally, somewhere in the area between a minute and 3 minutes is general. Um, so, there's a lot of ways you can be without air. Avalanche, you could be building a snow shelter and the snow shelter collapse on you. You could be buried under snow that way. You could be, making a, dirt cave or something to stay in for the night or whatever. They have a shelter that's a trench you cover up and that could collapse on you. A lot of things that you could be without air. Um, Air is your number one priority. Your body will not let you go without fighting for air. It's a natural instinct. Your body will automatically fight for air. I don't know if you guys have ever been in a swimming pool and went down too deep and then started coming up and realized you're almost out of air. Your body starts fighting for the surface. That's your body's instinct going for air. Um, Second would be the 3 hours without shelter. Now this is going to depend on your situation, your area you're in, the climate you're in, things like that, and it will vary from person to person. Um, the rule of threes is a very basic concept. It's a general concept. It's not meant to be exact. 3 hours without shelter mainly would be in the desert or Arctic conditions. In the desert, you're going to need shade, or you're going to, if you have shade, you can get in and out of the sun. You're probably going to be less likely to dehydrate as fast because you're not going to be sweating quite so much if you're in the hot blazing sun. Shelter is more important in the desert to get out of the heat. Also, a lot of deserts have sandstorms, things like that. You're not going to want to be in that. You're going to need some kind of shelter. And your shelter setup will depend on what area of the country or what area of the world you are in. If you're in Arctic conditions, shelter is going to be very important to you. Um, you know, the cold temperatures, you're going to need shelter, or else you're going to be hypothermic. Things like that. Um, Fire kind of coexists with shelter, and it kind of depends on what your situation is, whether you prioritize fire before shelter or shelter before fire. For example, if you're crossing a frozen lake and you're in the Arctic, and for some reason you go through the ice into the icy water, you're going to want a fire before you want shelter. A shelter's not going to do a whole lot for you if you're sitting there in soaking wet clothes, halfway hypothermic. You need to get those wet clothes off, get warmed up by a fire, get dried off, get your clothes dried off, and get those clothes back on, those dry clothes. That's the only way you're going to keep from getting hypothermic in that situation. Um, so we got shelter and fire. Next will be 3 days without water. Um, Water is a very big topic. Our bodies as humans are made up of 80% water, roughly. So you really need to have some method of boiling, as you see up here. You need to have, or you can use purification tablets, or you can use a filter of some sort. As long as you have some method of cleaning water, You do not want to get Giardia or Cryptosporidia in your water because you can get sick. It's going to dehydrate you, compounding the problem. So you want multiple methods. I would much rather take some of this stuff out of here and have more methods of cleaning water. Food is your last priority, but it is a priority. 3 weeks without food. You know, people think, well, 3 weeks without food, I can go 3 weeks without food. Technically, most humans can, but it's not a good situation. I don't know if you ever watched the survival shows where people really did go a long time without food, but your body gets really, really weak. The longer you go without food, the weaker you get, the less, emergency tasks you can do. The less you can travel, the less you can signal, the less you can do anything. You really begin to get weak the longer and longer you go without food. And if you're training for survival, not only will you need the knowledge to use your kit, you'll need your kit, and you'll also need to learn like how your body reacts to fasting and going without water. Now, I'm not saying go, sit out in the woods with no water, no food, nothing. Not a good idea. Always have a standby of water and food and things like that. Don't be ignorant and try to take on the world that way. But fast overnight or fast for a day and go without eating for a day and see how your body reacts, and you'll really start to understand. 3 weeks is an extreme for food loss. After 3 weeks of not eating, your body will really start to shut down. Same with water. After 3 days of no liquids, your body will start to shut down. It will be shutting down the entire time. After 1 day, you're already going to be dehydrated. After 2 days, you're going to start to get sick. After 3 days, your organs are going to be shutting down already. You really need this stuff, and you got to learn it. The kit does you absolutely no good if you don't know the science behind survival. So I'd recommend you really learn it. Read books, learn any way you can. And don't trust everything you read, and don't trust everything you see. Make sure it's a credible source. I'm not a doctor, so therefore, I don't have any idea for sure what each person's going to do when they're faced without water, without food, without shelter, that kind of thing. It really depends situation to situation and person to person. So basically, you need your kit, but you need your knowledge even more than your kit. You can get by on far less with your knowledge than you can with a whole bag full of kit. So learn what you need to learn, and then work on your kit. Anyway, guys, I hope this has helped you. I'm gonna go ahead and film the kit video now. Let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.